Good afternoon, friends. Welcome to Media Center Ukraine. I would like to remind you that we are working with the Minister of Defense, and today we have Lyudmila Denisova, the Ombudsman in Human Rights. Welcome, Ms. Lyudmila, and I would like to ask you to talk about a few things. First of all, about the violence against the Ukrainians, which is happening on to the territory of our Ukraine. And second of all, if you don't mind, we would like to talk about what is happening with our soldiers captured by the Russian Federation and kept in the Russian Federation. Good afternoon, dear colleagues, dear representatives of mass media. It is very important that you are in Kyiv. For us, it is extremely important because in this case, you support. It means that you support Ukraine and you're helping us to fight our occupier. And I do know that you understand what they are doing, and I would like to give you more evidences, and I would like to tell you a few words how we are gathering these evidences. We are working 24/7. We have the hotline that are 32 operators. We have 4 directions. First of all, we have 4 directions. That is a humanitarian aid. We are helping people to get the green corridors to get to the safer places. Second of all, that is, we are looking for the people who were lost, civilians and soldiers. And third of all, there are different issues, including psychological support to the people who faced violence or who saw violence on our territories. That is why we are gathering these evidences, and the information we have, that is information we got from the people, from our citizens, and that is why there are the proved evidences, and there are the evidences that these kind of things are happening on the territory of our state. And of course, we have the hotline. That means that everyone can text us, and there are lots of applications fulfilled regarding the people lost and different other things. And I think that everyone knows my phone number, and I receive lots of phone calls, and I receive lots of messages in the social networks, and that is why we have lots of evidences regarding the war crimes on the territory of Ukraine. Every day we start our morning with counting the number of children who were killed and who were murdered. And unfortunately, today we had 196 children, and more than 350 children were injured. But I want to say that this number, unfortunately, it's not the final number, because there are only those children who were recorded, who were registered, and there is a criminal case about them. But unfortunately, we are not able to count the number of the children murdered, and it is very difficult, extremely difficult, because the active military actions are taking place almost everywhere. It is more or less safe in Kyiv, but unfortunately, Kyiv is under shelling, and the occupied territories that are the territories where we do not know the consequences, the final consequences, and that is why we are talking only about the evidences which we have already collected and which became the criminal cases, and they are in the single register of Ukraine. We are recording that the aggressor is violating 4 Geneva conventions, the international humanitarian law, the convention of the protection against genocide. Why am I talking about genocide? Because these crimes, including the genocide of our nation through the usage unconventional weapon, that is thermoballistic bombs, that are the bombs that are the phosphor bombs, that are the cluster bombs, that are the mines which are all around our cities, and when one is when people are finding these mines, and there is also a crime because this unconventional weapon has they have the consequences which you cannot correct, and that is the crime against the humanity. We can say that there is a genocide. It means that we can include here the sexual crimes, which is restricted by this 100. By the 16th article of the Rome Statute, where it is said that the sexual rape of women, of girls, of children, of anyone, which leads to the situation when a woman is not able to give a birth to the child, it's also a crime. And when it's happening every day, we're finding the clues. That is also the genocide. What kind of other genocide what are the type of genocide we are recording? The Russian Federation is making the reports in the mass media. There is a general who is the head of the offensive actions in Mariupol. He gives the information that, for example, today at 8 a.m., he has spread the information that they have deported, that is my term, they have deported 790,000 people of Ukrainians, and more than 150,000 people of these are children. And during 24 hours, they brought to the Russian Federation more than 20,000 people. More than 20,000 people are in the filtration camps, which are close, which are on the occupied territories of Donetsk and Lugansk regions, close to the border with the Russian Federation. They are bringing out of the city, out of the country, the children. We also have the personified children, and we have the information regarding those children who were brought out of the country without parents, without the adults, and we are asking to bring them back because now we have the proved information that the Russian Federation, during the next week, they are going to simplify the procedure of adopting the children from Ukraine, and they are saying that they do not say that these children are from Ukraine. They are in fact saying that these children have the Ukrainian origin, and that is a thing which was proved by Putin. And we do know that before the aggressive phase of the actions, till the 24th of February 2022, more than 1,100 people were brought out of the orphan houses, which were on the territory of Lugansk and Donetsk region, and 280 cases are already prepared, as they say, the children ready for adoption by the citizens of the Russian Federation. That is why, according to the Convention on Prevention of Genocide and the Rome Statute, there are these kind of deportation and adoption of the children of one ethnical group. The second ethnical group has to be considered the genocide of Ukrainians, and that is why we define it as genocide. It is killing of our people. It is using an unconventional weapon, the destruction they are doing in the cities, and people are staying in the occupied cities. They are limited with movement. They are limited with water supply. They have no water, with no food, and it makes our citizens, our Ukrainians, to move in the territory of Ukraine to the safer regions, that is more than 7 million people moved to the Western Ukraine, and 4.5 million people moved to the other countries to get the previous, the preliminary protection. But at the moment, there is a support of these people in the other countries. But we really appreciate the support of the other countries because they are accepting our citizens, and we hope that as soon as the peace will come to our land and Ukraine will win in this war, our citizens will come back to our state. But we need to do a lot of work to do that. And the armed forces of Ukraine and we, all of us, we have to do something. And we have to do something to reconstruct our country, to make the place for these people to have. Please, the question. Thank you, Ms. Lyudmila, for this information. And I will start from the questions which CNN has sent us. And the question is, how many cases of rape were recorded by the Office of the Ombudsman, and what is the real scale of this problem? Well, we are talking about the sexual rape of all. That is not only women, that are not only girls, but that are also children, boys, that are the elderly people, men. We have lots of cases when these kind of cases were recorded. That is the separate weapon of the Russian Federation against the Ukrainians. We cannot tell the exact number, how many people, how many cases, how many crimes against our citizens. But we will be able to say that that is the mass crime. We have the group of psychologists who are working with the office with Ombudsman. There is a phone number on our website, and our citizens are calling our psychologists, and when they are receiving the psychological support, they are saying that we want you to tell our history. We want to do that because we want these people we want to prevent this in the future. We want to punish the enemy, and we are gathering these evidences, and later our citizens, when they will come back to their normal life, they will give the evidences to the special official bodies which were created to record not only the fact as we are doing, but also the personality, the person who faced this crime, the person who became the victim, and who did it to this kind of person. Ms. Lyudmila, you talked about a very important thing, so that is the forced deportation to the Russian Federation. What kind of is it possible to bring people back from the Russian Federation? Are they able to prevent this deportation somehow? We are told very difficult stories. That are the phone calls to the relatives who are telling how their relatives were taken away, how they were staying in the basement, and then there were the filtration camps, how they were gathering the fingerprints, how they were taking away the documents, how they were making the psychological pressure to tell them about the people who they know, that, for example, these people might be participate in the military actions, or maybe they are in the police, and then they were moved to Taganrog, for example, the city in the Russian Federation, and after that they were spending the night there, including one elderly woman. She is 92 years old, and she cannot walk, and she was taken with her husband and with her daughter. They were sleeping in the kindergarten on the floor. They were sleeping on some kind of shields, and after that, in 1 week, after that, they were taken by the train somewhere, and they arrived to Suzdal in Volodymyr region in the Russian Federation. But after that, the connection was lost. But I have heard a lot of stories like that. The volunteers, the Russian volunteers are calling us, they are phoning us, they are telling us about different camps, about different this kind of detention points, so that our citizens are not able to leave. There are children, the babies actually, which requires nutrition, special nutrition for the babies. And what are we doing at the moment? We are, with the support of these Russian volunteers. So at the moment, the Russian Federation cannot manage, and they have brought our people, and they do not know what to do. They are saying, okay, you can live to the relatives on the territory of the Russian Federation or elsewhere, but they have no passport. They only have the migration document, and at the moment we are working on the contacts, and we have some results. And I would like to thank the colleagues from the European countries, including Baltic countries, for example, Estonia. They are in the city of Narva. They have they placed the tents, and our citizens are coming there. We are passing the surnames, and through the migrational service, they are checking, and they are allowing these people to go to Estonia. But we have to say that the Russians are running, and thousands of them are running away. But when they are talking about but when they are saying on this checkpoint that they are from Ukraine, they are not the Ukrainians, and they are brought back to the Russian Federation. Ms. Lyudmila, maybe you can advise something to the relatives of those people who are in this kind of situation, whose relatives were deported, and what they can do. Maybe there is some kind of algorithm. So first of all, if they are able to call to the hotline of to our hotline, it would be great. We are receiving lots of phone calls from all around the world. There are people from the Russian Federation who are calling us, and they are looking for their relatives who came here for the exercises, and later the connection was lost. And then that is why the phone number is 0800-1520, and we call us, and we are going to help. And also and the algorithm depends on the territory where our citizens stay. So, for example, today I received the shock information that that the people were brought very far from here. Can you tell us what is the situation with our soldiers who were captured by the aggressor? And all of us have seen our soldiers, our women soldiers who we managed to bring away from detention. Well, in the information we have spread, we were spreading it a lot, and there were 86 to 86 exchange. There were 15 women who were kept in Bryansk. First of all, they were brought to the Belarus Republic, and when it is said that Lukashenko is not a criminal, no, he is a criminal, as well as Putin, because he is helping this kind of dictator, this kind of aggressor, to do everything that is happening on our territory. And also these women, we have also men who were on the territory of the Belarus Republic, when our women were made to undress, to do the things, inappropriate things, and they were looking for the things which can be hidden. And that is according to their criminal laws. And I'm talking to a lot of people, which should not forget that 121 person who is imprisoned and who is waiting to be released from this prison. And that is why these kind of things is a kind of way to make a pressure, so global pressure on this. And also the same thing is we can say about our men. They were spreading the information that everything is fine, that everything is good. They get good nutrition, good meals. No, they were kept in tents. They were freezing, and they were in a very bad condition. They were not given food or water. They were not allowed to breathe outside. Only in that case where they could breathe fresh air when the dogs were around. That is also the violation of the Geneva Convention. The captivated militaries, they should be respected as well as the soldiers and militaries of the country which captured it. They have to be kept separately, officers and soldiers separately. They have to get nutrition. It is not allowed to make the psychological pressure on them. Ukraine, believe me, we have checked the captivation of all the militants who are kept in our territories, and all of them in all of the places of the temporary captivation. We have prepared the report tomorrow. It is going to be published how we are doing that, and I have been in this place and I was checking this kind of condition. That is why I'm able to prove that Ukraine is following the rules of the convention from 1949. Thank you, Ms. Lyudmila. Dear journalists, please raise your hands. Please introduce yourself and. Sorry, my Ukrainian is not that good.
You said that you want to help those people who have left Mariupol and have been taken to Russia. Some of them have actually left Russia and gone to third countries. What concretely can Ukraine do to bring them home?
So first of all, what I would like to say that we've mentioned that these kind of people are brought to Estonia, but the citizens who left, who were forced to go to the Russian Federation, that are the people who mostly do not have their homes. That is why we have to build. We have to build the houses to make this to let these people come back to their homes. And Ukraine is thinking about that. And all of us are talking about that. We are going to rebuild, we are going to reconstruct, and we are going to build even better places than we had. Yesterday, I have been in Chernihiv, and I have seen what kind of destruction did this enemy bring to Chernihiv region. There are the cities, and when you see that they were bombing Chernihiv, these enemy jets, they were bombing these cities a day. So people were going somewhere, they were in the queue, in the line, in the shop to buy some bread, and they were bombing, and the people all together. Some people were lost at law. One person he was calling his wife who was in the house close to him. The wife survived because she was in the corridor, and he was not found at all because the bomb has killed him, and only pieces of him are left. And that is why we have to build our country. We have to bring our citizens back. Thank you very much. More questions?
AFP, I have one question concerning a declaration you made a few days ago about an horrific case of systematic and massive rapes in Bucha. We're talking about a basement where more than 20 women were kept held for several days and systematically raped, which correspond to rape camps that were witnessed in Bosnia, for instance, in the 90s. Can you tell us more about this case and the investigation ongoing, the number of women, what happened to this woman now, and what do we know about this special and very specific event of raping in Bucha, please? Thank you so much.
As I already mentioned, we are receiving the phone calls, for example, because the people want us to record these crimes, or we are getting the information from our psychologists who are working with this kind of women, with this kind of girls who want the people to know about it. Most of the women do not know people to know about it, because we know a small piece of all these cases when women were raped and killed. That is a small part of all we know. There are 25 women who were raped in Bucha, in the basement, who were 14, 19, 24 years, and 9 of them are pregnant. 14-year-old girl and 5 occupiers were raping her, and she is pregnant. And her mother has asked for support because the doctors did not allow her to do any manipulations to get rid of this baby, and she didn't know what to do. And for example, recently, the 25 girl has called us regarding her 16-year-old sister who was raped by 3 enemies. And they were raping her in many ways, in all the ways possible. The other one was holding those 25-year-old girl, and she was staying on the knees, asking not to do that with her. But they were saying that you have to see this Nazi whore, and that is happening against our children, against our women. And when the grandmother, who is 16-year-old granddaughter, she's raped, and her 72-year-old grandmother is also raped, and this 16-year-old girl has lost her children. In this way, they raped her. And there are lots of cases when they have heard about this shock and they are losing their children. Just women found out that women were raped in this way. So one woman has called us and she said that when I heard these kind of things, when I saw that they were shooting the people in front of her, she lost twins. It is horrible. It is the genocide. It is the genocide against the Ukrainians. They are saying that we will make the things so that you will never give birth to the Nazi children.
Have been raped during Russia's occupation. 9 of them became pregnant. What did you say to Russia's allegations about fake news?
So at the moment we were discussing that not only 9 women got pregnant, even bigger number was pregnant. There was one case when there was a group of girls who were raped in this wave, and out of them 9 are already pregnant. We have the groups. We do know that later, when they are getting some first aid, they are leaving because they cannot stay together, because that is also very difficult. And some of them, they are living abroad. For example, we know one case when the woman left to Poland and the manipulation is not allowed there, and there are the specialists in human rights who are staying in Poland, and they are helping, because it is very difficult for a woman to think that she is going to give a birth to a child from this kind of aggressor, but from the person who was killing people, who has done that to her. But she has to live with it somehow. Please.
Understood you are taking these cases to the International Tribunal, and you want to make a big case on this. So to be precise is very important for you and for us. For instance, yesterday on this question of the sexual rape, I had an interview with Mr. General Andrei Nebitov, who is your general for the Kyiv region, which include the capital, but also the region around, Bucha, all the area which have been affected by this human rights abuse. And he was very clear. He said, we have only 20 cases of women suspected rape. Only 2 cases are clearly defined. The other are not clear at all. And we know that Russian killed, there was execution by Russian officer of Russian soldiers who committed this abuse. So clear to me that was not a Russian policy to rape women. It happened, maybe maybe, but it's not clear at all. When I ask about children, you say we don't have any, we don't know. There are no substantial proof. There are no real proof on this. There is a lot of talking, but not real proof. Are you sure that there was a Russian policy of raping women? Are you sure about that? Because the impression, having experience in war, and that everybody talk about sexual abuse, but like in Libya and Iraq, but Afghanistan, but there are very few cases. My impression that here the cases of systematic sexual abuse is not true. It didn't happen, or if it happened, was very, very few cases. Please be precise, because if not, then the Russian will have a lot of argument in trying to dismantle your argument. Second question, I would like to understand exactly how many people were taken to Russia or outside Mariupol and the other occupied areas. How many? Because I didn't get the real number. Thank you.
It is a very weird question, dear colleague. You have to understand that at the moment... Can you hear me? The journalist who was asking the question, can you hear the interpretation? The question is very weird, dear colleague. I would like you never to be... I wish you never to be raped by anyone, because when the person is raped, this person doesn't want to talk about that. Do you understand that? And then when it says 20, it means that there are 20 cases which are proved. And how many people do not want to talk about that? During the last day, 24 hours, 52 people have called our psychologist center to get this kind of support, because people are saying we are dirty, because we do not deserve your attention, your respect. We do not deserve your time. We do not deserve it because we went through this, and you want them to go now and to give the evidences. And it needs time. We're recording everything. Who is calling? Where is calling? Who is asking for help and who needs help? But at the moment, we are not spreading this information. That is why Ombudsman is recording the facts. And as an Ombudsman, I'm doing my work. And for example, I'm receiving the information about 15,000 people lost. I have each and every application and every person and the photo and the descriptions, tattoos. I'm responsible for all my words. Tomorrow I'm meeting the prosecutors of the International Criminal Court, and if they will need it, if they will need this information, I will pass it. Regarding the second question, at the moment, we are using the information which is spread. The enemy, General Mizintsev, from the Russian Federation, every day he is giving the information regarding the number of the people who suicide left the territory of Ukraine. At the moment, his information at 8 a.m., as of 8 a.m., it is clearly written, and you can get this information through TASS. 790,000 people of our citizens are on their territory, on the territory of the Russian Federation. More than 150,000 people are children. 130,000 people are from Mariupol that are their information, and you can check it. And he has also written there that only 4,500 people received their help. The support from the Russian Federation, but they are saying that they are keeping our citizens. That is information, the official information from the Russian Federation. And also it is proved by every day by Maskalkova, who is responsible for the human rights in the Russian Federation. You can also check that on her official Telegram channel. Thank you very much. Other questions?
Hi, Federica Bianchi from Italy's Espresso. I am going back as well to the case of the 25 women, because I'm sorry, but today I went to Bucha to verify it. And again, I also met the prosecutor of the Buchavska region, and he said that he has no idea about these 25 cases. He said that you invented and fabricated the information, and he said that only 3 cases of rape have actually been recorded. Then I spoke to other local journalists, and they also confirmed this version. Then I asked to 15 police officers to show me where the place, the basement where it's supposed to have taken place, the rapes was, and nobody has any idea of this basement. So honestly, at this point, to believe this history, we need proof. Because without any evidence, without any proof, it seems to me there are more words than reality. And I am a woman, and I understand what being raped means. But still, I think we need some solid evidence to be able to say, to write, and to report a piece of information like this. Thank you.
I would like replying to this question once again. The evidences are going to be presented to the prosecutor. If these women, by this moment, they do not want to talk to the prosecutor, we cannot make them. We cannot force them. I cannot force the others. 53 people have called us, and only 3 people out of them allowed us to tell their story. I was telling you about the 25-year-old girl. She wanted to help her sister who was raped. And during only 24 hours, the last case during the 24 hours, there was also one girl, the baby, the child, 11 years, she considers herself to be guilty because she didn't listen to her mother, and she went outside and she wanted to gather the flowers to do something beautiful, but she was captured by some militants, and they were doing something with her, and by this time she is not telling anything, she's just crying, and we are working with her. And there is also one man who is 45 years, who is, according to his health condition, he was not able to go to the army. He just went out to get some water, and he was not in Bucha. Those 2 cases were in Hostomel, but the man told that he doesn't want to tell where he is from, but he allowed us to tell that he was raped by the soldier, and he was later. This soldier was beating this man, and he saw that this man was dead because he was lying on the road. And that is why I do support you, that you need the evidences, you need the proofs, but the proofs would be in the court. Me, as the Ombudsman, I can talk only about the fact you can use them or not to use them. That is your right. But I think that when I will have the opportunity to tell this, because the people will be willing to do that. If they will be ready to tell their names, we will do that. We are helping. Our help is confidential. Do you understand that? We have the phone. We have the phone on our website of those people who are providing this psychological support. The people are calling them. They are working to persuade these people that they have something to live for. And after that, we are doing the rest. You know, at the moment, we have the number of people who want to commit a suicide has increased because they feel guilty. They consider themselves guilty because they allowed these kinds of things to happen. I was in Bucha myself. You were in Bucha. I was there just right after it was deliberated, and I have seen these Kadyrov's soldiers and how they were doing that, how they were shooting these people. I have seen lots of blood, and I have seen the place. There were 3 groups, and 2 of them were from Buryatia and from Kadyrov. The crimes were there. If after this, these people will want to tell about these things, they will do that. Thank you, Ms. Lyudmila. Maybe the other questions?
Thank you. A question from Swedish television. How will you proceed so that these testimonies of sexual crimes can be part of the evidence collected regarding war crimes?
Tomorrow I'm meeting the International Crime Court. I'm going to meet the prosecutors, and we will understand how it is better to cooperate with them to prove these crimes which we are recording here. Our information, the information we are collecting, we're sending 2 times a day. We're sending to the International Crime Court and to the International Court, to all official bodies and the system of the European Union. And I'm cooperating with, and I continue to cooperate with the expert group, which was created by OSCE. We were passing all the information, and they have used our information in their report, which was published yesterday, and you can find it on the website. Sorry, I don't have more time. Thank you, Ms. Lyudmila. Thank you that you found some time and joined us.